trajectory. Efforts to cap warming at 1.5 degrees would become dicier. We need more carbon capture, more reforestation, and more converting crops to biofuels that sequester carbon. In one scenario, the world would have to convert slightly less than the equivalent of the entire U.S. into a biofuel sacrifice zone, which is incredible. And the problem is, like, a lot of this situation is, it's very complicated. It's very hard to understand, but just you have to. It's worth doing research. But the good thing to know is there are technologies out there that could save us from this really kind of impending doom that we are seeing here, just to say the least. So these systems transitions are unprecedented in terms of scale, the report states, but not necessarily in terms of speed, and apply deep emissions reductions in all sectors. So, yeah, the scientists who wrote the report are undeterred. In fact, the granular nature of the report, which has looked at over 6,000 studies, white papers, and policy documents, is a helpful way to think about the various levers we have at our disposal to address carbon pollution. So the good thing is there are ways out there. There are ways we can improve this situation, and that's something to look forward to. But we really have to act fast. And again, another huge reason to vote in November for the blue team, not the red team. Because if we don't have that, we are screwed, just to say the least there. So, anyway, yeah, October 2nd, 2018. A Saudi journalist in exile and frequent critic of the country's ruling monarchy, Jamal Khashoggi, who is a U.S. resident, entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul to retain routine documentation for his upcoming marriage to his Turkish fiancée, Hatice Cengiz. He was never seen leaving, and according to the New York Times, Turkish officials are anonymously confirming that the investigators believe he was killed inside. So pretty much what's happening here is Saudi Arabia, and this is our last story of the day, believe it or not, because there's so much other stuff going on, and we're just kind of being drowned out by it. It's literally our last story of the day. Other sources may say he could have been dismembered to smuggle his body out of the building, which is insane. Saudi Arabia may have just killed a U.S. journalist. Like, that's what we know right now. So it's possible that instead of being brazenly murdered, Khashoggi was subject of a brazen kidnapping. The Washington Post's sources, by the way, the Washington Post is who Khashoggi works for, believe, however, that one source related that investigators believe the 15-man Saudi assassination team arrived as part of a pre-planned murder, and the incident has put Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the day-to-day ruler of the kingdom, who has promoted himself as a reformer and robot-loving tech innovator, while simultaneously cracking down on dissent, right in the spotlight. So it's pretty much a crazy situation how it's going on. And the thing that makes it a little bit awkward is this guy, who may have just killed or kidnapped or whatever, really seriously harmed a U.S. journalist. He's kind of met with like a lot of famous people in the United States, including the president, Donald Trump. He's met with Bill Clinton. He's met with Michael Bloomberg. He's met with, I think, Google. Is that who? He's met with Mark Zuckerberg. He's met with Bill Gates. He met with Dwayne Johnson. And he's met with Dwayne Johnson. He's met with Rupert Murdoch, Bob Iger. They all had dinner together. Wow. That is incredible. That how many people he's met with. So, according to, Reuters is reporting this. It's very likely that this guy was killed, according to two Turkish sources in the consulate in Saudi Arabia. This journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. Wow. That is a big deal. That is something that we should definitely not forget about. So yeah, bin Salman was aggressive booster of the Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, $3.5 billion investment in Uber, and a massive deal with SoftBank Group Core, which is still growing, according to Bloomberg, as Recode recently noted. It's all part of a pattern in which Iridia is an ascendant, underrated power player in Silicon Valley finance, showing muscle from projecting strength that makes them more and more indistinguishable from Silicon Valley's other homegrown power players. So that is, wow. That's a story to watch if there ever has been one. This guy killed in Saudi Arabian hands, a U.S. journalist, U.S. resident. Wow, that is something worth looking out for. That's our show. It's great to be back today. We'll see you tomorrow.